Something white under that rock. Can we take a
So
look?
there are snappers here.
Yeah, you can snap it.
Snappers and
Strange for a
groupers.
sponge to be
Just
under a rock.
we've been trying to look under all the
Fell on it or something.
overhangs we can find. Just seems to be that they're doing a good job of hiding or staying out of the lights, possibly.
That's good video.
I'm thinking that rock must have fell for
Yeah.
that sponge to
Kind
be
of
there.
sponge wedged in there.
He's between a rock and a hard place.
I wonder if this is the volcano sponge or something else.
Maybe it came
It's
off the
too
bottom
small,
of that
difficult
rock.
to say.
Is this shadow or is that some? Oh yeah, it's a shadow from the.
Can we look at the holes?
Sure. Let's go fish left.
They look like little. Oh,
Good snap.
here's a big eye soldier.
We'll let it go. Let's see. Come here, little guy. I won't bite.
Not noticing very many of small epigonas or forage fishes.
Search around.
Squids were observed in this area, but
Seriously,
it's been
lights
pretty
just came in.
limited in terms of prey items. Not many shrimp either.
Is that what that is?
I've noticed
Yep.
a couple of shrimp that were
Go back to the other holes.
Alright.
on sponges, and but nothing that would be as large as what we've seen the past couple days. Those red
Painting,
shrimp
right?
species that were
Yeah.
abundant
The heterocarpus.
south of here.
And there's a lot of, I mean, little holes and crevices for them to hide in. I mean, look at this. This looks like a perfect apartment complex for shrimp.
It's those cotton ball sponges we were
Yep.
looking at yesterday. They took over the place.
Thanks, video.
Cookie star
Let's hold this medium shot.
Alright.
on the lasers is the
Something's
sea star.
right, moving, crab. Next to the biggest hole on the right.
Don't see it quite yet.
Up. Straight up from lasers, hold there.
Oh, got it.
Oh, there's something
You can come in if you got
right
it.
here. Oh, maybe a,
How close
oh,
can
it's
you
a
get?
Hermit
hermit
crab.
crab.
Come out a little bit.
It's difficult to see and really blended in there well.
Without catching your lights on the overhang.
Yeah. Yeah, what's your port upper? Yeah. It's clear. But some navigational hazards here. Yeah. Come in if you want. Hold that.
Do you have eyes on port upper in my screen?
Yeah. That's fine.
Lasers.
Done with lasers?
Okay, partially, yeah.
Not many fish, although it seems like it would be a good habitat for fish.
Alright, more stable now, roll.
This guy's a ceiling hanger. Talk about your rock climbing.
We're looking at a
Okay,
hermit
so-
crab. It's
Maximum.
inside of another kind of mollusk shell. Doing a
Look okay.
bit of a
Carl?
tightrope walk on the ceiling of this
Alright.
cavern entrance.
We've been stopped for a while right now.
As we pull out, I think I saw a red structure above us.
Awesome, thanks, pilot.
Some nice ledges up ahead, but I think I'm stopped here.
Alright, I'll go up and over this. Carefully. It's not to catch my brow, my swing arms.
Yeah, I wonder if this is the same species, but just a different growth form.
Yeah, the sponges are, needless to say, sponges are confusing. They have so much
serious?
what we
Hold
call
there a second.
plasticity in their morphology.
HD2
They they
on
may
all of these
take
shows
different shapes depending on
object
where they lie in the
below us.
current. There's another.
A
Can we,
red one,
oh,
yeah.
yeah.
can we zoom on 6 o'clock as a red stalk?
I'm gonna see something between my toes.
Out the. Okay.
It's not trash, I think.
Oh,
Oh,
didn't even see that before.
Yeah.
Maybe
Maybe
a
we missed it.
piece of rebar.
I guess we were.
looks like a
Zoomed in.
metal pole of some sort with
Taped.
taped, yeah.
Oh, it's got a.
Looks like wood.
No, it's right.
Used for something.
Rusty.
Yeah.
There's a walking sponge.
Impromptu kind of.
Good eye, Roland.
What is
Is
this?
that
Hermit crab?
hermit crab with
Fish.
a... Oh, there's a tiny little fish. Right there.
Wow. It's got to be less than a centimeter.
Oh, and a squat lobster. Does that hermit crab have a sponge on?
Is that or a nose?
Kind of looks like
Yeah,
a rock.
I think so.
You're drifting up.
There's actually, looks like maybe there might be another fish right on top there. Can see something silvery. This looks like it could be used as a fishing line weight, maybe.
All right.
Although it looks like more like a broom handle that's been cut off.
Yeah.
Alright, I think there's something red up here I wanted to see.
The red structure kind of at the top of this frame right now
Hold.
is what we're interested
Let's
in.
get closer.
Okay.
Trying to figure out if this is encrusting on some other organisms in
Yeah,
this
it
area,
goes
or if it
better.
actually is making this structure
I'll come
itself.
down a little bit.
We've seen a number of red colored sponges like this that are encrusting but not quite growing over anything else yet, but just looking at the different morphologies of these tan
Go ahead, partial.
bowl-shaped sponges. And,
No, I think this is how it's growing. Because look at the tissue right here.
yeah, it's a new observation if that's the case.
Center.
Carl, can you bump me up just a...
Yeah.
Just a hair.
Something up.
I'll try to hold that for you, video.
Pilot, are we set up to do a collection? Are we in a safe spot?
Yeah.
Siri says yeah.
That's a really
Would
small
you
object.
be able to collect this red sponge?
I would certainly be able to try. It is pretty small. Get lasers on it.
As long as it gets stuck in between your fingers,
Yeah.
then falls out.
It's like 3.
Tilt up?
Yeah.
Lasers.
It's definitely unusual for this site. It would actually help us understand too if there
I'll
is
set up
another
for it.
underlying sponge. It would kind of be a 2-for-1 collection. Presumably the sclerites would still be intact if it was encrusting, and we would be able to examine the encrusting sponge as well as the underlying sponge. Or if it's its own structure, that would be something we could do too. Could understand if it is creating these structures and it just has both encrusting and 3-dimensional morphologies.
Carl, can you joy lock?
There's a fish in the distance on the top of the screen.
Ready?
Yeah.
I think that's a
It's like
queen.
a small queen.
Yeah, I think it's a queen.
Sirius is nicely centered.
You got minis this already, looks like.
Okay.
Think coral cutters close to the ground, or do you think pluck it off?
Fingertips.
Fingertips?
Unless you want to try the reverse coral cutter. But even then, you'll miss some of it.
Copy.
But it is pretty small for your fingers. Okay, I'm going to move Mini to center.
Alright. Or if I can, between two of the fingers, kind of impale it. You know? Or cradle. Concerned if I cradle, it's going to fall through the wide fingers, you know?
Yeah.
Well, actually, this is pilot.
Yes, pilot.
It's pretty small, so I think inevitably I'm going to deform it a little bit. I don't think I can cradle it. Is that okay?
I think that would be okay.
Okay.
It's probably spongy.
Yeah. I can. I think I would rather. Well, actually, is it okay if I cut it off with the curl cutters, or do you want me to pluck it to get the base? Is that important?
I don't think getting the base is important.
Okay. See how close I can get this.
Yeah, you might have to turn it around.
Yeah, it's flatter on the other side.
I think in this case the extra lights might help.
I think from this angle I would need to
Think you can do it?
let's try one more thing.
I'll bring your upper swing arm around to light it better if you want. Is that good?
Yeah, I think so. Alright. Let the ship roll go for a minute.
Let's zoom on either camera.
Yeah, you can partial zoom on Zeus and Mini Zeus. Yep.
Tilting down on mini.
Hold that video. Yeah, when you get your wrist bound up this much, it's hard to like angle it relative to the ground.
Yeah, definitely. It's so small. I think that might be yeah, it's kind of above it.
I'm gonna try.
Maybe you could come up a little and just get it from this angle between the fingertips, like you were saying.
Yeah. Like right after the cutters. So we're in here.
Are you in grip force 2 or something?
I'm at 4. Go down to 3. So I don't have to depress the button so far.
I reset it a few days ago, so it closes on 1.
Okay. Alright, watch it. I got a very small piece of it. It'll trim off the top. I can put that in the box and then maybe come back and try to take a finger and get the rest of it if you'd like.
Yeah, let's see how big the piece is in the box. That might suffice.
Okay. Just a bit off the top. I was trying to get as close to the ground as I could.
I think you were. Yeah. Moving D2 a little. Okay, do you want port or starboard?
The starboard air, it's fine.
Starboard in. All right. Okay. Opening drawer. All right. I don't know if you want me to bring Minnie around or if you like it there.
Should be fine there, I think. Hopefully it comes out of the draw.
I think that's soft go to the back of the box.
Still on your blades.
Oh yeah.
Zoom in on Siri HD2. Show it.
Oh. Just give some little wrist rotates. There you go. So small.
Yeah, it's like
The jaws are still in the box here. Ready for close?
well, actually, this pilot.
Yes, pilot.
I'd say we did see a small piece fall in, maybe the size of a quarter. Would you say, Copilot?
Yeah.
Is that sufficient, or I could try to? I don't know.
I
get
think
more
it's.
of it.
Is it going to be hard? I think to get the rest. I don't.
Yeah, I think it will be difficult.
Yeah, I think that should be okay.
Okay.
All right. Closing
Thank
drawer.
you.
You don't think you get it between those two small fingers?
It could get it between the small ones. But the problem is, it'll fall between the big ones.
So pilot, watch the lighting here on your boxes. A little worse.
All right. Take your monitor back.
So for all those who are tuning in, this is the Okeanos Explorer. We just collected a piece of this red sponge that we've seen a couple times during this dive, but we haven't seen so far on this expedition. Today we are exploring an escarpment off the west coast of Desecheo Island. It's a small little island off the west coast of Puerto Rico. This site is known by fishermen. It's called Pichincho. And we've been working closely, collaborating with fishermen like Ricardo Lugo and Nelson Crespo. And they've been willing to give some of the areas where they fish for some of these deep water species like snappers and groupers. So today's objective and mission is to characterize the habitats that some of these deep water species can be found at, and while we were descending, we believe we saw a school of snappers, maybe silks or queens. And then we were lucky enough to see a misty grouper, a wassa, when we reached the bottom.
Okay, coming up with you.
Copy.
So we're slowly going up this feature, and right now we're at a depth of 313 meters. And there's a lot of overhangs and small nooks for a lot of these animals like shrimps and fish can hide in and take refuge. Buenas tardes y gracias por acompañarnos hoy. Ese es el Okeanos Explorer. Estamos explorando un pared este de un sitio se llama Pinchincho.
Upper swing arm at beginning
Está
level
oeste de la isla de Desecheo.
Could snap it.
Hoy estamos caracterizando los hábitats de los peces en aguas profundas. This is interesting. This, I don't think we've... It's some type of cnidarian, possibly a corallimorph or an enemy. My gut says corallimorph, but
Yeah.
it's beautiful.
Go for it.
The colors are so subtle, but very beautiful.
Copy.
Yeah, not sure if this is... I think it's a corallimorph. Like just a structure. So these can be easily confused with anemones. Anemones have stinging cells, while corallimorphs don't have stinging cells.
You have more zoom. All right.
However, they're both cnidarians related to corals and hydroids.
Saw that.
Thanks, pilot.
Yeah. All right. I'll continue up. Thanks, Will.
Alright, so as soon as you're over this, I think we could do another 15, maybe 350.
Copy that.
Sounds good to me.
Looks pretty cool on Sirius camera.
Yeah.
Alright, ready for the move?
También hoy estamos identificar los corales y esponjas en estos
Bridge, this is
habitats.
ROV now.
Hay muchos esponjas en este sitio.
Looking for a move if you're ready.
If you want that fish, you can take it. Will.
Range will be 15 meters. Bearing 350 degrees.
Looks like
Speed
another
decimal
big eye
2.
soldier fish.
I guess best one.
Good copy. Thank you very much, Bridge.
What was that, Roland?
I think that's the best we're going to get from him.
Yeah, I think so too. He's a mile away.
He's been identified.
Copy.
We should have tether in a moment. Can come to port a bit.
Very cool terrain.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like this.
Saludos, todos están escuchando en el Eco Exploratorio. También los pescadores, Nelson Crespo y Ricardo Lugo, saludos.
Looked like some very large boulders fell on the right.
So the substrate is as smooth as yesterday, but we have much more overhangs and relief at this site.
Fish lower left, small, on top.
Frame it up. Snap it.
It's a tiny fish. Oh. Oh, there's a couple. Looks like maybe these are Epigonus. Maybe.
Bottom one stopped.
Yeah. Two of them come in. For the right one.
Oh.
For the left one.
He is the right one.
Yeah, these look like they could be possibly Epigonus. Oh, here's a sea star also.
Laser's clear.
These small fish are all prey items of some of the larger fish, like the groupers and snappers. And you can see how that's using the overhang as refuge, protection. Trying to blend in.
That red object.
It's got my curiosity as well.
It's a bigger red one.
It's another one of these red sponges.
Yeah, that'd be
Lasers on. Except this guy looks flat.
Ah, this is a little bit larger.
yeah.
Pull out, let you approach.
There's kind of a rock in the way. I can't get that good of a view on it, but
Can we just get maybe a snap zoom?
yeah, we will.
Yeah, so to get better.
All right, video, come in. Hold.
Maxim.
Copy. I'll try to keep it steady.
Yeah, I never seen this before. It's definitely, I think it's own sponge. I don't think it's encrusting anything unless it's encrusting these other cream color sponges.
Perfect. Just pluck it. Pluck it from the top, maybe.
Video's clear.
All right, pod's clear. Next video.
Video's swapping out.
All right. Next roll.
Thanks.
Looks like I made some distance. We're still in a good spot here.
Copy.
My heading's bouncing around a lot.
Is it?
Got another pretty big overhang ahead of you.
Still a guy? Ooh. Pretty tall one.
think I see a fish down here. I'll try to grab that fish here. Hey, video. You have me? Yeah. Thanks, video.
Oh yeah,
Put
one of
lasers
those, another one of those big eye soldier fish. So we're definitely seeing more fish on this dive than yesterday's dive. And we didn't see these big eye soldier fish yesterday at the site north of Bajo de Seco.
Got him. Beat you to it, Carl.
It could be due to this site, this location, possibly currents, but also a lot of this relief on the substrate. It's pretty dramatic.
All right, video. Did you need more video of this, or? Okay. Pilot's clear then. Thanks. You got a big wall in front of us. We're gonna climb. I'll look off to the port, trying to find some fish. Looks like a little bit of overhang action.
These pieces look like there's some failure in the seafloor.
Coming up.
Looks like this might be another one of those either corallimorphs or
You can
anemones.
snap it circular center. Kind of reddish brown or something.
Coming up with you. You're pretty far over
Hold
the port
that.
here.
Yeah, it looks the same.
Yeah, it looks the same. There's some rubble right to the left of it that's stylaster. Looks like small stylaster pieces.
We got a good zoom of that earlier, Bob. So we'll let it go. Thanks.
Got an amazing zoom of it earlier.
Pretty good?
Hmm.
Thanks.
It's like a castle here.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy, all these sea stars hanging onto the edge of this rock face.
Got some crazy geology going on here.
In the 2015 expedition, where they surveyed the other side of this escarpment, it didn't seem as broken and rigid in their photos. Looks like we found some transition of some geological area. Not sure. There's these black that are they're small, but
Yeah.
they're standing up. Can we snap zoom those?
Absolutely. I'll make it closer video.
Now, what depth was the top of the
Come in.
wall again?
Pence.
So the top of the wall, I believe, is around 240 meters. However, we are not going to the top.
These look
We're
like
gonna
small little black
get to
corals.
as close as 250 as possible, and then start coming towards the west.
Gotcha.
This is
Probably
our
around
first black coral that we've
260.
seen
Whoa.
today.
Sorry, I didn't
Amazing. This is not too dissimilar from black corals we've seen on other dives. This could be either stylopathes or something very similar, maybe parentopathes. They're very difficult to
moving or
tell
you
when they're this
stationary?
size. This is only a few
We're
centimeters
currently
tall because
stationary. We have been stationary
it's
since
difficult to identify if
1956.
it branches or
Copy.
or other diagnostic characteristics that could give us some better insights. But I think that those names will have to suffice for the moment. I would say
video.
probably parentopathies, like in this case. It's tough to tell if on the bottom there, maybe that was a branch that broke off. It looks like it's angled on this side.
Oh, yeah.
Or if maybe that's a small branch bud on the lower, kind of just a centimeter or so above the base.
I think there is another one of these just a little bit further along in the rock.
Zoom out a little bit, video. I think it's right up here.
Yeah, I think I saw two. Yeah, there's another one.
That little guy.
Yeah, all the same size. Possibly some sort of single recruitment event or settlement event. This one looks a little bit more.
Yeah, it looks like it's branching at the top.
Could have some branches. We noticed there was a branching coral that was similar to this on previous dives, chrysopathes, but it's difficult to tell where it's branching. These colonies are very, very small, only a few centimeters in height. Do we get lasers on or around these?
Let's get them on. Sure.
Just to get an estimate.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be on the colony. Yeah.
I'll get it right next to the
So
base.
we're looking at like 6 centimeters maybe. Very tiny. Okay, thanks, pilot.
Yeah, that'd be good. We'll get the size of the other one too.
Good copy, Bridge. Thank you. All right.
Thanks, video. You guys ready for a short move, or you want to wait a minute?
Yeah, I guess if we call it in now, we have a little way to center up and then be on our way.
We're looking for another 15.
Seems to be working.
Yeah.
350.
Yes, that looks good.
Copy that. Bridge, this is ROV nav. I'd like to put in a move if you're ready. Range is 15 meters. Bearing 350 degrees. Speed decimal 2, please. Good copy, Bridge. Thank you.
Pretty similar here to what we were seeing down the seafloor. We've made about, we started our dive at around 365 meters. We're right sitting at now 295 meters.
Feeling any current down here?
Our dive today will cap
no.
us out at the minimum depth that our vehicles can go at around
Surface
255,
good.
between 255 and
Pick that up at
250
like
meters.
2 p.m. and rip.
But this terrain is more or less
We need to recover.
what we've been seeing, and likely what we will see. This slope was quite sharp in our multi-beam bathymetry. I can't tell if that big white splotch in the distance is something encrusting or if it's a fan-shaped object.
To the left?
To the left, to the right, looks like 3 splotches.
Yeah. You can zoom in. I think it's discoloration. I could be wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, some sort of encrusting organism.
Come out. We'll go to the other one. Yeah.
All right.
Maybe a sponge. Tough to tell at the moment.
Far out there.
Come wide, video. Definitely encrusting.
Should be moving to you soon.
There's a fish in the distance.
Snag,
2.
Snag him, video. Ian, if you got it.
Tough to tell from this distance, but they look like similar to snappers. One of them might be a black fin, which as we saw just a little bit deeper.
Good eye, Nav.
Alright, I'm on my way.
At this site, the fish seem to be keeping their distance. Other sites, they've been more friendly. Makes it difficult to paint them with the lasers and get an accurate size estimate, but we'll try nonetheless.
Alright, so you're on the move towards me.
Yep, we should be able to get up to the next wall, or next ledge.
Okay. What's this on the ground over here video? Come in. Light color on the sand sediment. Oh, it's
Wow. The sediment is almost all made up of coral rubble, pteropod shells, urchin spines, pretty much just really coarse material.
You can come out. Video. Thanks. Alright.
To the left of where we just zoomed in, is there something under that? Is it more discoloration under that overhang?
Come in.
I thought it looked like it had a little bit more structure to it. Oh, there we go. Have we seen this in the past half an hour or so? I was at lunch, sorry.
Zoom out a little bit, video.
No, I don't think we've looked at anything like this.
Can we get a closer look at that pilot?
Yep. Working on that now.
It's kind of in a crevice, makes it a little bit difficult to maneuver, but
Turn a bit to keep
let
it
us
in
know
front.
if it's... That could be one of the sources of the rubble we've been seeing over the past couple hours on the bottom. That particular colony looked pretty live compared to
Copy.
some of the
Come in.
rubble we were seeing.
Carl, can you rotate me up?
Yep.
Hold on. Yeah. It's kind of in a weird spot, so I'm kind of zooming at it from a long ways away. I don't know how close I can get to it.
Yeah, appreciate you trying there. I know it's kind of in a crevice.
Yep.
You know, I don't think this is a stylastrid because it looks similar to some scleractinian rubble we were seeing earlier. Some other small branching colonies up on the top of this rock. But yeah, it's all really distant.
All right. There we go. Let's try that.
But this looks more scleractinian than stylastrid. You can see the individual coralites in the side of the skeleton,
Can rotate down about.
Sure.
and also you can see some pretty clear tentacles at this distance.
Is that max zoom? All right.
Colony looks to be about 15 to 20 centimeters, maybe in height off the
I
rock,
don't wanna
with
get down in
2
there.
or 3 other colonies in the area, very small ones.
Not worth it.
Okay, thanks.
All right.
Yep.
Thanks, video.
When video is all set.
Got your rotator back.
All right.
You're off to starboard.
Copy. Fish down here. If you wanted to snap it. I think we've seen him. Yeah, we have. I think we can let him go. He's hiding. I gotta get back center line with my co-pilot.
Okay, that's 350. restart your tail cam.
Thanks.
We're still climbing this feature. We started at a depth today of 365. We're now rounding about 290 meters. Another 40 meters to go or so until we're in a more or less the shallowest portion of our dive. A lot of really large encrusting fans here. They're all in really inconvenient spots, right, Pilot? Kind of to get good close-ups of any of this.
I can try some stuff here. Frame up.
Good
crab.
job.
Seems strange to me that so many coral fans would be stuck in a hole, but looking at a crab here. Definitely not one we've seen recently.
Okay,
Lasers on the crab, 10 centimeters. So we're looking at maybe 15 centimeters
Come out a little bit, video.
across the legs.
Set a toe down, and then we'll get a more stable shot of those fans as well. All right, come back in. All the way in. All the way in. The fans.
Oh, this is something we didn't see when we were zoomed out a little bit further. It's got several zoanthids on the legs, on the second and third pair of walking legs. Fairly spiny.
Take more
Definitely
zoom
not
if
one
you
we've
got
seen
it, if
before.
you want to. Zoom at will, I guess.
he's coming for you.
There's also some
Yeah.
interesting coral rubble in this area. Cup coral on the left-hand side as well.
All right. Pilot's clear. Carl, grab my rotator. We'll go up to those fans, see if I can get
Yep.
it from here.
Thanks, Pilot.
I could maneuver the ROV all the way to the other side too, to the left side. But
So there could be a lot of different types of corals here that we might want to
Partial.
look at. So
Crazy, look at all the rubble.
let's kind of scan along this.
copy. I'll start from the left, work my way right. Hold that. You can rotate up a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think this is probably the best evidence yet for several different types of coral colonies. Are we kind of maxed out here?
Can you take more zoom video?
Yeah, there we go. So I think what we're seeing here is behind the shimmering water in the distance, we're looking at a few different types of scleractinian
Is that 'cause we're so shallow?
corals,
Is that 'cause we're shallow?
Yeah,
What?
there's
as well as
different temperature water.
some stylastrids. Stylastrids tend to be the bigger ones here, but a fair good number of scleractinian corals. The one in the foreground,
Down.
difficult to tell at the
I guess
moment, but
Pretty good right now.
it could be Madrepora.
Should I try getting closer?
Has a pretty clear,
Get a
distinct
little
zigzag
closer,
pattern,
yeah. Your middle or tail would
but
be
I'm
on
not
this rock, so it'd be hard
immediately
to figure it out,
convinced
but
that it couldn't be something else.
do it.
All right, video, you can come out. I'm going to try to get closer so that we have less
But
shimmer.
that would be my best guess at the moment. Is there any way we can get closer in
yeah,
there?
I'm going to try that. Something here.
It's really got quite a diversity on this one overhang. I'm actually not sure either what those two large fans in the middle, dead center, are. Those are on the target list to get closer zooms as well.
Oops, I have your camera, sorry.
It's all right.
So Tilt back down to center then.
All right, let's go for the big fans.
Okay, so this one's a bit of a mystery.
Still quite a bit of shimmering.
We're looking at a white coral fan or several fans on this rock, and we're seeing a lot of shimmering water, which is indicative of a salinity or temperature, usually temperature in this area, change in the area or mixing.
It's mesmerizing.
Makes it really difficult to actually see anything in focus.
But it's pretty difficult to focus.
I'm starting to get dizzy. There we go.
Not sure what these could be actually.
Got more zoom.
This could be a scleractinian. Could be a stylastrid. I'm not seeing much definition in the polyps on the polyps, whether they're tentacles or not. Given how finely branching and highly branching it is, and the pinkish color on the stalk on the main stem, I would say it's probably more of a stylastrid than a scleractinian. At least these three colonies we're looking at right now. Very nice. Can we go back to some of the others?
Yeah.
Kind of keep scanning the ledge here.
Yeah.
Tilt.
I'll come to port, I guess.
Maybe these black ones hanging down, or the white ones hanging down over the black.
Yeah.
This is the most coral diverse
Tilt
spot.
down to it.
Just this rock, this one overhang that we've seen on the dive so far. So it'll take a few moments just to get a better picture of what's here. Can we go zoom in on one of these
Crab
Grambly?
right there, middle screen as well for the base.
I'll try to swing back to the crab here.
Very nice. So I'm looking at this coral now. It looks very reminiscent of what we were seeing in rubble form deeper on the slope. This looks like madrasis. Difficult to tell. There's a couple different deep water species of madrasis in this area, but Madrasis myriaster is the most common species. Difficult to tell to the species level what these could be, but I think we would be safe in estimating that these are Madrasis colonies. They differ slightly from the other stony corals, stonier coral structures here. Even though some of these white branching colonies look very similar to these others, some of them are actually hydrocorals that produce a stony skeleton and not stony corals themselves. Okay, I think we can move on from that one.
It might come out a little bit.
And then the third type I want to take a look at is on the left edge of the screen right now.
Copy.
Just
Large
coming
polyps.
in. Yeah, larger polyps, yeah. That one looks very different.
There's two of them.
Either colony, left or right, I guess, whichever one's easier to focus on.
All right. Let's go ahead and partial. See which one you like better video. Maybe the one with the black. Some definition there. Contrast.
So yeah, this could be one of two things. This could be either Madrepora or possibly Lophelia. I think I'm going to go with Madrepora, given the distinct zigzag nature of some of the branch tips. But again, it's difficult to tell since the colonies are so small. I think I know the answer to this already, Pilot, but there's no possibility of sampling anything under this overhang?
I would say no. Nope.
Yeah.
It's yeah. There's kind of a rock that would be behind my tail, and
Okay.
it's kind of wedged in a weird spot.
All right, we'll try and look for a better spot, I suppose. Nice imagery, though. If video needs anything else, feel free to take your time, but this is a really nice coral spot.
Yeah, you can tell by all the skeletons below it. The rubble. Copy?
Got your rotator back?
Yeah.
Alright, it's yours.
Interestingly, I have not seen any octocorals yet on this dive. Just black corals and stylastrids and stony corals, scleractinian corals. Can we also snap zoom on this 9 o'clock position coral? Center now.
Absolutely. But yeah, I can get close to this one. So
Very strange how all these corals are growing in very difficult to sample places. Or maybe not so strange. I would think that a lot of these crevices are a little bit more constricted in terms of flow conditions, but it seems ideal for the corals at least. It seems ideal for the corals at least.
and you might have to do some lighting. Try the fog lights.
Okay, ready for spotlights?
Phenomenal. Yeah.
I don't know, looks pretty good.
Okay.
So these actually, now that I'm getting a closer look, they look a little bit.
Isn't that a hermit crab?
These look a little bit more like
This might be a
Lophelia
candidate for spotlights. Video, would you like me to try
than
spotlights?
Madrepora at this point.
Okay.
It'll
Any possibility about sampling any of this material? It's kind of on the side.
would you expect it to be brittle or?
Yeah, it would probably shatter if you touched it, but you would probably be able to grab a chunk possibly if you got it in the gripper.
I think if you put your skid in it closer to the edge, at the right spot.
We can also see if there's any on top of this boulder. You know,
Yeah, maybe there's ones that are positioned differently.
can we mark this particular site on HiPAC
Yeah,
as a kind of a coral hotspot?
absolutely. Turn those fog lights off.
Yeah.
And then we'll scan this rock for other candidates.
Okay, spotlights off. Yeah, Nav, you can note the D2 depth also of 290.
Yeah, this is this coral that we've been seeing is of interest to many scientists. Each of these records we're making at this site are important for both distribution studies, connectivity studies, habitat studies. So anything we can get here is extremely valuable. Bunch of different stuff here. There's a lot of stylastrids